Buenos dias, folks. Buenos dias. Is Earth flat or round using logic and common sense? Now, when I first started doing this, sometimes it used to take me a couple of attempts. Like when I first started doing the reels, I come on, turn the camera on, record, come here and do, and then go, do 5 minutes and then go again. And then go again and try it again. But lately I don't do that. I press record, I know what I want to talk about, speed of light, gravity, it doesn't matter. And I press record, I come up and I wing it. And I don't really worry too much. Just now, I have already done Is Earth round or flat using logic and common sense twice. I got to about a quarter of an hour in, 2 times, and found myself stopping. But because I didn't think I was being objective enough, the first time I did it, I thought, right, let's go again. Second time, I found myself doing the same thing. So I stopped and thought, I am being objective, I just need to tone it down. Still say exactly what I'm saying, but not with clenched fists, saying, come on, King Globers, let's do it. That's where I was going. You'll see why. It's bizarre. So on stopping the second time, I properly analysed why I was stopping. And the reason I am stopping, look, is it flat or is it round? Using logic and common sense. Folks, straight away, those of you who side with the red, the left, unfortunately, you cannot be objective. Your common sense has been somewhat compromised. Now this is why I found myself doing it again. No, I passed this bit. In about 10 minutes you'll see I'm probably screaming at the camera asking you out, right? You cannot be objective. So when I say logic and common sense to work this out, anything I say will be rubbish by you. Because you have already had the file uploaded. So is it counterproductive for me to now do, is it flat or round using logic and common sense, knowing that the only thing that's going to happen is what always happens. Y'all boo me, you throw the rotten fruit and the eggs and stuff, don't you? Because you don't like the common sense. You cannot be objective. You're subjective, mother. La 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 la. You are. It is not your fault, which is why I am still coming back for more. I'm a glutton for punishment. If it was your fault that you are the way you are, then I wouldn't even bother. I just leave you to it. You could just carry on bumping into things for the rest of your lives. But I know it is not your fault. This is where it gets complicated. I know it is the curriculum. That's why I keep doing what I do, because it is not you guys. You weren't supposed to be assholes with cognitive dissonance. I could drop the assholes bit, but you are not assholes. The cognitive dissonance. Folks, this is a fact, right? Now I'm being 100% objective. You lean towards that. The NASA pics, supernovas, the black holes, gravity, moon, planets, expansion, relativity. In fact, space travel in general. Folks, I do often say that one of my biggest smoking guns is the lies. Now, for those of you who have followed me for quite some time, you will have heard me locking horns with this, what I say is illogical science, way before I had even heard of a flat earth theory. This is true. The science drives me nuts because I know it's lies. And I have been speed of light, speed of light, speed of light, and the pyramids, but got nothing to do with this. Speed of light, speed of light, speed of light. Because along with the speed of light goes so many other things. But I was talking to somebody yesterday on YouTube, and it did not matter what I said. He is convinced that there is a light delay, right? So, y'all are going to be the same. You're convinced there is a light delay, even though there is none. How can I say it any other way? A solar eclipse is not possible with finite light. It isn't possible. It's a fact. It is the facts. They just don't tell them to you like they are. It cannot play out with finite light because you cannot have the light source that radiated the photons that take 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get here at the same time as thinking that the sun that is directly behind the moon is 8 minutes and 20 seconds old. Right here. Fact, fact, fact. Locked in. But you don't do those kind of logical facts, do you? You do the illogical ones. We have us a problem. We have us a problem. And something else I realized as I was doing this. Folks, space travel, in general, the Cassini, the perseverance, the ingenuity, the curiosity, the voyages, everything that has ever gone up that I know haven't gone up is suggesting we are on a round planet. Now this is where I found myself going, what am I doing? It's science. Those of you who believe the science, who have been unfortunately chipped at a very young age, the moon landings is in your curriculum. I am being objective. I'm surprised that they actually let some of the things that I'm saying. It's the truth. It's hard to fight the truth, isn't it? So, using logic and common sense, is it round or is it flat? You guys are just going to hear, what the is this guy talking about? But you cannot be objective. You simply cannot be objective. Well, this is how common sense and logic work. NASA peaks, I don't think so. Supernova, traveling at the speed of light. They're telling us if, when you see, everything travels at 299,792 kilometers per second. Black holes, gravitational waves. The whole science relies on 299,792 kilometers per second. Gravity, it's neither here nor there. Gravity, there is no gravitational pull from the moon on Earth's water. It's a slam dunk. It is a closed case. For those of you who may have joined us this morning, I'm not usually this animated. I'm a lot calmer, but I find myself in a bit of tricky waters. The moon, as it orbits Earth, they say that there is a bulge along the equator because that is where it's orbiting us. But it is orbiting us at a distance of 30 Earth diameters. 30 centimetre globe, the moon would be 9 meters away. That is a long way away. And this moon here is perfectly to scale. So it would be 9 meters away. To scale, that would be to scale, right? That's just a stand-in. As the moon is orbiting us, it is said, equator, bulge, you think it is along equator. But it doesn't happen like that. And the tides do not behave as they would if it were the moon. How do you know? Because of common sense. The tide on Earth, the tides, they come up and they can stop the neap tide between 5 minutes and 60 minutes at the top of the tide. How does that happen with a spinning globe and a moon? There is no opening for water that comes to a stop. We are talking 6 hours as well. So 1 hour stop after 6 hours of coming in, that is like a 15, 16, 17% of the time that it took for the water to come in. It's too much. It makes no sense. It's a closed case. So gravity, it's not proving overall gravity, it's just proving that the moon does not shift the water. Now, that's going to lead to another thing. Light. Should I add light on there? Folks, Newton, we have gravity. No. Half of it's gone, right? We're not talking about this one here, right? We're talking about the moon and the water. It is probably, arguably, the biggest of the evidence. The reason for why most of us thought there is gravity. So that one is gone. We then have planets. So, yeah, the gravity here can stay for now. A big one gone. Moon, the planets, the moon. It's round. We presume that gravity, mass, it collects, gravity, the more of it, the bigger the mass, the more it pulls. That's what we were all taught. But knowing that the moon has nothing to do with the water, one has to have a closer look at the claims of gravity. And because it's Newton involved, I dare say I know where it's going to go. Same as eyesight. The same as light. The same as every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Now this is where I have to turn it off and start again, because right now it's so obvious to me, but because I am objective. Everywhere his name appears, it's like he's peed and claimed his little territory, isn't it? Can you see why I have to start this again? I'm thinking about doing it again because I lost control again. Kramer. No, we'll continue. I don't usually get like this. Newton. Space travel. Right. The expansion of the universe. The actual expansion of the universe, folks. The Big Bang. All of it. 299792. But during, no, there is no light delay. Objective, the evidence, it's staring everybody in the face, but only those who manage to, I don't know what it must be like. Oh, not this. See why I have to start this? Relativity relies on 299792458 meters per second. But during a solar eclipse, these are the facts. I can understand that people might think, yeah, but you're repeating yourself a bit, mate. But during a solar eclipse, humanity, listen up, we only have one chance, one instance in our existence, in our entire existence, where we get to decide what the speed of light is for ourselves. Nobody can take that away. It happens again and again. To believe there is some kind of delay, especially with 8 minutes and 20 seconds between the sun and the moon, is so illogical. I'm going to smack that phone off of its perch, through into amongst the telescopes and books, and start again. That's how I feel right now. Humanity, wake up. Observe your solar eclipses properly. Ignore what other people are telling you, and you decide whether the sun is directly behind the moon or not, if there is a delay or not. Now here's the thing, if light were travelling at 299,792 kilometers per second, what other option do we have? We have the sun being a lot closer to the moon. Here's the thing. There is an opening. If light travelled at that Mickey Mouse finite crawl of 299,792 kilometers per second, if the sun were parked up the moon's arse, real close, there would not be a light delay like we see during a solar eclipse. But here's the thing. It is them who is saying there is a gap of 150 million kilometers. See where they have a monopoly on it. It could be traveling at that Mickey Mouse speed and still have no delay, but it would have to be snuggled up to the moon. But it's not snuggled up to the moon because they are telling us that the light is traveling at finite speed and it is 150 million kilometers away from us, from the moon. So when we look at what's happening, we can see that there is nothing traveling at 299,792 kilometers per second. There isn't. There is no delay. And then on further investigation, we can see during the solar eclipse that the sun seems to be directly behind the moon during a solar eclipse, and there is no delay. So they're telling us that there is a delay and that it's, but there isn't a delay. Is it just there? See? They're saying there is a delay and it's way down there. But there isn't a delay. And is it real close to here? I am just doing a mirror of what they're saying. There is no delay. They're saying there is. There are no photons. They're calling them at 299,792. Einstein, big fan of Newton. Look, folks, I know it's uncomfortable. I get that. Believe you me, I have felt better on a Saturday morning. Not really. This feels good. It feels real good. Folks, what we have here, all of this and more. Let's not forget special relativity as well. All of everything is suggesting that it's round. None of it works with a flat. So here we are. Are we getting closer to, has logic and common sense worked it out? Not really. Because, all right, mate. Love ya. Because, oh no, don't tell me I've lost my train of thought. Look, I have lost my train of thought. I hate it when that happens. Folks, it's been an emotional morning. This is my third take. You can see how I get. I have been battling this stuff for years. And here I am. Hadn't heard of a flat earth when I was fighting this stuff. And where are we now? Here I am, with it again, knowing its absurdities, not defending a flat earth or defending a round earth. I'm looking at things objectively. Now what I see is the most unbelievable attempt at making out that it is a spinning planet. Or is it? Because all of these things here suggest we are round. All of it. This is where it's at. This is where it is at, folks. Of course, the science, the rockets, the 1969 to 1972, when they had a pact with the rocket gods. There shall be no accidents, said the rocket gods. Light them up, and they surely did. No crashes, no accidents. They didn't even have a fender bender on the moon with the moon buggies, did they? Everything went just dandy, apart from Apollo 13. But that in itself was the mission. Very clever. Very clever. Let's get people back. Right, folks, look, we have us a situation. Flat. What is there that might suggest it is flat? Well, let's start with flatness. It's true. The horizon. Again, nobody who has ever looked at the horizon has seen curvature. But all the globers do. Why is that? Probably the same reason why you see a light delay during the solar eclipse. That's why you see curvature at the horizon. 9 out of 10 pilots drink Coca-Cola, not Pepsi. I mean, say that they do not account for curvature. It is not a consideration when they plan routes or when they're flying. The autopilot does not keep going, doot, doot. They fly straight. Now, if there are any globers screaming, well, how does this work or how does that work? Consider yourself slapped upside the head, okay? The water, the spin. Why is it not getting chucked out everywhere as we spin? Oh, that's right. Gravity is holding it down, isn't it, folks? Gravity is holding all of the water down, right? And in the meantime, these grow straight up, don't they? Not an original mine. I saw somebody mention it yesterday. Seen it before, but never really clicked. I liked it. Gravity is holding all of that water down. But this little dancer, density and buoyancy, course it's not, you wanker. It's fucking round. Cannot be objective. We have to do some kind of exorcism to get rid of the subjective part of us. How? A beating. I would do. Could line all the Globers up, science fans, and maybe like breaking a horse. If I get 2 sticks, I could do 2 of you at the same time and just beat you until you scream, I'm objective now! Right next to, I would do that. I will go into overtime. If it's going to save mankind, I am willing to beat the subjective out of you guys. 2 at a time, right? Just something to consider. Then what do we have? Observations, everyone's observations, all of our observations, all of your observations, even their observations. Nothing suggests it's round. Part we have the moon and stuff like that, but we don't. What else is there that would suggest it's round? Nothing, folks. This is an awkward moment, isn't it? This is logic and common sense. Well, you know where you can shove that, don't you, mate? The atmosphere and the vacuum. How are we in a vacuum without a lid on? How? How is it that everything is staying here and there's a vacuum just up there? Why does it not just fuck off ski into space ski? Serious question. Folks, the lies told by science. You wanker! You wanker, you don't have any evidence. But the thing is, nor do you. For any of it, it's all an illusion. Now, common sense and logic hasn't proven that it's flat or that it's round, not yet. There is a massive question. Is it even remotely possible that they have done all of that just to keep a lid on the flat? I'm being dead set serious now. I had never looked at it like this, and it isn't, again, until you have stuff like this up on the board, that you actually realize what it is. And now I see everything for what it is. The question is it possible that all of this was to hide it for some reason? Is it logical to think that? It isn't logical or illogical to think that. That's the danger. It isn't illogical to think that, not with all of the lies. So, what is there in all of this? We have these camera shots, the zooms, the blah, 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 blah. If those are true, if all of us were given one of those cameras and we all took a turn zooming into the faraway boats, to the city skyscrapers, and seeing that there is no curvature after 20, 30, 40 miles, it's flat. Bang, it is. It's about the evidence, okay? That's all it would take. So anybody who does, if those cameras are real, and those people are seeing what they're saying they are seeing, Earth is flat. But I am reluctant to trust that stuff because I haven't done it myself. That's how it works. We've all seen it. But is it true? Have they? This camera that's been banned apparently by NASA. I hear this stuff and don't necessarily believe it. So when I see somebody saying, look, zoom, it's all straight, it's all flat, look, that for me isn't evidence because it's not me doing it. I don't presume. That is how it works. See, I am objective. I don't jump on that and go, look, be stupid. I'm not there. I don't know if it's real. Then we have the pilots. 9 out of 10. Do it doggy style. Mile height, sorry. Whoa. Rein that back in, sunshine. 9 out of 10 pilots say yes. It's flat. It's flat. And again, I don't know if they're actors, lying to make us believe it is flat. This is how logic, common sense, and objectivity works. I do not jump on stuff that suggests it's flat because it suggests it's flat. If I am not there, this is me being, so you understand that I'm not taking sides. The water and the spin, all observations, the atmosphere and the vacuum, there's always some kind of scientific reason for why we can be in a vacuum. There's always a scientific reason. Are we reaching a stalemate? Logic, it's more logical with all of the reasons, right? The horizon, it's more logical to believe Earth is flat. It is more logical. But if it is flat, then we have the firmament to deal with. Now this, for me, is my hurdle, because I am not a self-declared atheist. I just believe in myself. I don't believe in, it would be counterproductive to believe. It just would be, okay? So, if it's flat and we are in a dome, did somebody make it? You wouldn't think that something like this could just appear with a lid and a sun and a moon in it, would you? But we're not there yet. But what I'm saying is, if it was flat, would that mean there is a creator? Officer on deck. If there is, fucking words. Seriously, I think I put my hand up. Allow me to go and chat for us. I think that would be a great idea. I would like to talk, because more could have been done before he fucked off ski. So what I'm saying, is it flat, is it round? If it's flat, forget the Big Bang, forget evolution, just forget all of that. See, then we go on to the dinosaurs, fossils. I do know that the half-life, that crap, is a lie. I know that is an absurdity. It's illogical. So the dating system can go do one. See, all of these things. But is everything in place to make us ignore, to distract us from a flat Earth? This is the question. There's loads of different reasons flying around my head, but you've got to look for the big ones. You've got to know where to aim. And this, I've never been in this position right now, where bang, bang. Like, I can't say, it's flat. There is not enough. Just because every single aspect of the round argument is a lie does not mean that it's flat. If people cannot be objective, Oh, I would hate to be them right now. Lie. 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 Massive lie. Lie. Why have I left gravity? Well, because I want to speak to Newton before I cross that off of the list. I don't want to just cross it off of the list without having a word. And the moon and the planets. Well, still questions, isn't there? But the rest of it, no. No, 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 NASA. It defies logic and defies common sense. The only way to get people to believe something like this is by teaching them at a young age. God, you're going to get yourself into trouble, Paul. You're going to get yourself into trouble. But these are the facts and they cannot be ignored. Childhood education is what is the main driver. It is. It is. Child education, young education for children is the main reason for this to be so what it is in society. Don't forget, let's be objective. Where will you find most of those fans? In the US of A. Listen, it's the way it is, right? You can either look at the facts or you can deny them. The curriculum, the moon landings. People will fight to defend them. They will. Literally. Boom, boom. But first rule of Fight Club, we should do not talk about Fight Club. It's all one big lie. All of that. It is. Does that mean it's flat? Is it now logical to believe it's flat, knowing that all of that is a lie? Not really. Is it illogical? No. It's definitely not illogical, but it's not logical either. Common sense still has no, when logic is still battling it out, common sense has to stand back and look and observe. Intuition? My intuition is telling me there is something definitely wrong with my lease and water charges, future water charges. My intuition is telling me something is out. It's not making sense. Doesn't make any sense. There is something out in that situation. Anyway, this is about flat or round. And here it is. If we all had one of those cameras, we could all go to the horizon, we could all go to the beach, whatever, look for those faraway boats. That would be it, a sealed deal. I have to get my telescope down there. I have to get my telescope down to a beach on a calm day in the next week. Because if I can see a faraway boat, I will use the phone on it. See, these are the things. Those people who have, if they have done that, you see people, the Chicago skyline or all of these different things, different measurements that people say they have done. From one island to another island, everything is flat, right? But again, it's not me doing it. So to a certain extent, we have to believe. But then you've got other people. Now here's another one. For every 10 there are of boats moving away in the distance and disappearing like that, not over the edge. For every 10 of those that I've seen, maybe one or two that kind of try to show a curvature, which is, it's a little bit messy, that one. It does look like the boats are moving away on a flat horizon. Again, I can hear you, Globers. No, it's not. No, it's not, you're screaming. But it is. It is. Get off the R-ski, go to the beach ski and take some footage. It's the only way to know. This is dragging out, isn't it? This is going to have to be recorded again. I'm so tired as well. What does it seem like to me? Flat. Why am I saying that? Just the feel of it. It doesn't feel like we're spinning. The aeroplane thing going under the planet. There's nobody walking upside down. We have water on the planet. The horizon seems to be flat. Pilots, my observations, it seems to be flat. If I had $100 and they were both the same price, I'd put my money on the flat. Am I a good gambler? Not always. So, common sense right now is starting to get a little bit twitchy. It's going, ah. There's too many things against it being round. And knowing that there are so many lies, right? Knowing that there are so many lies, you have to ask yourself, why so many lies? It's not like one or two. It's been this relentless drive. Even every day, exoplanet discovered light years away. I know every time I see it, I know it's a lie, but it is continuing. They have not let up. Those names were fed in to history. They're not real. There were people here before all of the buildings. Folks, it feels like we have just fallen off of a calendar a generation or two ago, that early, right? Somehow, a previous folk, previous people, something has happened. And we have been lied to about everything. Big buildings, just everything. The Tartaria thing, the mud flood people, the giants, the big trees, the dragons. Now the Globers are going, now he's cracked, he's lost it, people. Time we get this on film, we will have 20,000 views by lunchtime. Behave yourselves. It's about what people have been taught when they're young. That's what's sticking, right? Those people who were taught everything's space, believe it, love it, they are gagging for it. But it isn't real, unfortunately. Stop, objective. It's not real. They are lies. And if you were able to be objective, you would know they are lies. Because you can't be objective, you think I am a subjective wanker. And I'm lying, but I'm not. Same as I don't lie about light being absolute during a solar eclipse. This is a big one, see? That solar eclipse, that light, Relativity, black holes, super relativity, the neutron, the proton, the soft on, the hard on. Those things all rely on 299,792 kilometers per second, folks. Light is not traveling at that speed. There is no delay. You wanker! You don't know that. I do. Because there is no delay. So shut up, you subjective. This is, I'm not going to post this. I'm just doing it for fun now, just in case I do. It would just be one of those memories for myself. What a morning that was. Shut up, Globers. Look, everything is screaming. A bit of both. A bit of both. Where did we come from? Why are we here? Those are the big motherfuckers. They are. Why? How? When? Who? What is it all about? What is our purpose? Not to be slaves. Not for our kids to be slaves. I think that is a minimum requirement, okay? The lies. The amount of goodness being siphoned it's a little bit naughty, okay? And being objective, I know I'm getting myself into trouble. That has never stopped me before. Not when humanity is at stake. Do I know the price I may pay? Yes. My boy might be saying, my name is Peter Bethel. You killed my father. Prepare to die. But tell me, there isn't a better cause. Liars and charlatans. Light is absolute. There is no delay. Everybody can see that as a solar eclipse plays out. All of this is just lies. That alone should have people asking questions. Why so many lies? The rapid fire effect. That's why people believe it, because they've been taught it, and it's boo, boo, boo. If it wasn't ingenuity going up, it was one of the other ones doing a lap somewhere, orbiting some planet, taking photographs that we never see, and that never look real. Folks, this side of your dinner plate, you may as well rub it out. So, now, what do we have that suggests it is round? Now that lock has gone. It was always going to happen eventually, wasn't it? What do we have? All of a sudden, it is more logical to believe Earth is flat than it is round. It's more logical, right? You can't slam dunk it, but it is more logical. All of these observable reasons, right, that people can see, but also the lies that the other party have told. And they are porkies. They are some good porky pies. I really should have put Parker Solar Probe up there, because that was quite some absurdity. So was DART, knocking the old asteroid off course. 3 degrees up, boom! Not on par with Voyager, but not too far away, I must add. Folks, I'm afraid that the only way for anybody to really know is to do whatever test it is that they can do to try and find out. That is the only way, right? So all of you globers who keep saying, nah, you need to, I think, listen, I think we all need to do the camera thing. It's the most obvious check. The fucking horizon, isn't it? Let's face it, if it's flat, if you can see boats a long, long way away, is it that difficult? So anybody who comments and who argues, who wants fisticuffs, because they think it's round, but they haven't even tried to do something themselves, you need to be quiet. Same as myself. I use logic and common sense to do my stuff, but you guys, without any of that, you shouldn't be talking if you cannot be objective and you haven't tried any of the tests yourself. No, you cannot use the moon being round and them landing on it as one of the reasons. They have not shown us any real pics of Earth. Everybody knows that. It's not about presumption, it's about where are they? Where are they? They're not around, they're non-existent. It's the lies. It's the lies. We all tell a porky, but this, come on, next level, men. All right, look, what is the verdict? The verdict is, I'm struggling with that firmament, because if it is flat, there are more questions. Are there more questions than there were with the Big Bang bollocks? Yeah, because the Big Bang, like, woof, come out of nowhere, didn't it? But the firmament. So the waters above be like the waters below, and I separate them with that right there. Now that would be something. It would be. I do apologise for all the things I said over the last 60 years, sir, but I still would like a word. Somebody needs to go and talk to, sir. Please let it be me, or at least let me go. Maybe he only speaks Spanish. I could be an interpreter. I'll see him, shake his hand. Mate, you can't fucking leave this lot on their own. You can't. So what should I do? I don't know. Get rid of alcohol. Governance. And kings and queens and presidentes. Borders. That kind of thing. That's what you can do. Folks, Earth seems to be flat. It does, but then, look, we have the firmament to deal with. I first have to do my own thing. We've gotten to the stage where logic and common sense, see, I'm objective, logic and common sense cannot go all of the way. They can't. It is more logical to think it is flat, but then that raises the firmament question. And that right there, is it logical or illogical? It's neither. It's back to a kind of a not getting, it's more questions. So the first thing that needs to be done by anybody who is interested in this subject is to personally, not a mate did it. A mate went and did it with the camera that we're talking about. That, I'm afraid, is not enough. Not even if your mum does it. These things need to be checked on a personal level, which is why I always say people need to think for themselves, because if you don't think for yourself, people will make stuff up, Newton, and think for you, and we don't want that. These are the facts, folks. Common sense and logic have had a smash, but it all comes down to the very same thing. In the end, it needs to be a personal observation. It doesn't matter if everybody on earth tells me it's round or it's flat. I cannot comment either way. I can't agree or disagree until I have done my own method of checking it one way or the other. No, the moon in the sky does not prove it's round. The horizon, it kind of does, but again, you need to do the check. I'm on both camps here. The only way to check, to know, is to check on a personal level. I am going to be taking my telescope within the week to the coast, to the beach, ain't down the road, and I am going to have a look, see if I can see something. And even then, if I see something that I shouldn't be seeing at a distance, I know, whoa, Jamaica. If I see something like that, and I come back all excited, can get a boat to get some good green, just over there. And I said, I can see Jamaica from Australia. People would obviously not believe me because there's a few other continents in the way. It would be silly. But what I'm saying is, it does not matter what I come up with as evidence for it being either round or flat. And I come on here to my ticker, go, folks, guess what? And I did this, and it's flat. It wouldn't be wise for people to believe me without checking themselves. This is, look, I can just come on here, press the button, record, and said, just go check yourself. Just go check yourself. And then it's all done. Go check yourself. Right, look, it's warmed up now. They're telling, I think the thing about all of this, it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. All right, folks, look, I hope you have a great Saturday. 58 minutes. Oh, something's telling me it's not going to be a wrap. I think I lost the plot a little bit. Or did I? Latest, peeps.